for it.
Hello and welcome. What I'm doing this minute is waiting for StreamYard to push to YouTube so that I can confirm that everything is working, and also so I can mute myself over here so I don't hear myself twice. All right. It looks like we're on YouTube and I can see that folks are here. What's up? So it's been a while since I've had a guest on our Wednesday live stream, but today I have Phil. And Phil, you're going to have to pronounce your last name for me the way that you pronounce it, because I'm pretty sure I don't.
Lancaster. Yeah,
Phil Lankester.
Yeah, somebody in my family tree can spell, obviously, so it should be Lancaster.
And the reason that Phil is here is because I wanted to talk about this popcorn thing and the popcorn theme thing. And if you guys were here last week, or you are following this channel at all, you'll know that I actually put the popcorn theme on my niche site, cage site, website, because I wanted to know what all the hype was about. And then because I think it's super interesting to talk to folks, I actually asked Carl and the team, I said, could you send somebody over and to talk about popcorn? And it turns out Phil was the one who got the nod. So Phil, thank you very much for submitting to Livestream Wednesday.
No, it's okay. Glad to be here. I don't really go on YouTube too much. And when I do, I never watch a replay because I don't like the sound of my own voice.
You know, it only took me 2 years to get over that and actually be able to listen to the sound of my own voice. So don't worry about that. Eventually you will get there. Before we dive into the chat today, I want to jump over to the chat and see who is here and say, hey, ICD and Adrian. Sabina was here and she might be back. We'll catch you on the replay. There is also Keith and Supriya, who is Hughes of Delahaye. And folks, if I missed you, you are in the chat. Feel free to jump in and tell me again that you were here, because there's only so much I can do all at once. Also, if you happen to have questions for Phil, or you think that I need to ask more about something in particular, please let me know. Also, I just wanted to highlight this early on in the show. My affiliate link for popcorn is in the description. And if you use the code AmeliaStream, hopefully I spelled that correctly, you can actually get $20 off. And that is valid till the end of August. So a little bit of rush, but not like tons of rush. All right. So Phil, like, I literally know like this much about you, like maybe less. And that much was given to me because we were recently friended on Facebook. So could you just give me like the 1 minute sort of here's who I am spiel, so I have some like foundation?
Okay. Well, me and my wife and I, we actually run a company in the UK which specializes in WordPress development and web hosting. And my background is server infrastructure and networks and stuff like that. But I sort of fell into the WordPress thing probably about 10 years ago, maybe more now, through doing work for people and trying to get stuck in. And now we sort of almost carved ourselves a niche, if you like, or niche, for doing lots of work for affiliate marketers. People like yourself, Carl is one of our customers, as is Alex, and there's a whole bunch more. And ever since the release of Popcorn Theme, there seems to be even more customers now and more questions. And I see it as, I find this community such a friendly and inviting community. There's a lot of people which I never would have ever met, Alex, Carl, and yourself as examples. But now I'm here, and I think I'm here to stay. I don't actually own any niche websites. Well, I'll tell a lie. I own 50% of one with Carl. And he's probably alluded to this on his income streams that, you know, he's got one with his friend, and that friend, well, he classes me as a friend, so I class him as a friend. But yes, so Carl and myself, we do own the website together, which is doing okay. But to be honest, we haven't really pushed it too much at this point.
Awesome. Well, I want to jump in then and to talk about popcorn. And part of it is just because I'm curious and I want to understand a little bit better what the heck is going on here. And so I hope you will excuse some of the questions because they're coming from somebody who is not a developer, right? My websites, my content sites are as stripped down as possible. I usually use GeneratePress and the free version of it, and I use as few of the things on it as possible. Most of my content is on mobile, right? Most of my traffic is on a mobile. And so I really do as little as possible because all I want there to be is the text and then the images and then the ads and then nothing else. So no tables, no bells, no whistles, nothing. Looking at the Popcorn website, it talks about like unnecessary code and bloatware. And those are terms that I say, okay, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so in terms of writing a theme, you could put a theme together which is just pure text, and that will be absolutely amazing in terms of page speed and stuff. But we don't want that. We want some design elements within a theme to actually make it look and feel like a website and a place that's inviting to go to. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a massive user of GeneratePress myself. A lot of my client websites are using that or Oxygen. And sadly, some of them are using Elementor, but that will change. But I think for the majority, the need was brought out of there's a need for people just to want to get a site up and running, and bang, off you go. And that's really this. That's exactly what it does. There's no unnecessary things in the theme which sort of distract you from churning out content. And there's nothing, and that was basically the design brief from Carl and Alex. I said, look, we don't want all these distractions, all these silly design elements which you can put together. And I said, well, that actually limits us in terms of what we can do. However, we went on a bit of a tangent, and it's been decided that when you buy the Popcorn theme license, you're actually going to get lifetime updates as well as any future themes that we develop as well.
So any future themes, you mean like that aren't Popcorn, like if you...
Yeah, so there'll be a variation, if you like, on Popcorn, I don't know, salted caramel version or edition or something like that, which would be another theme which you'll essentially not lay over the top, but replace your existing thing. And then you've got a different look and feel, but it's pulling in all the stuff which you've saved before, things like your hero content, your affiliate disclaimer, and so on and so forth. So you're not going to have a million, well, I wish we could sell 1 million, but 1,000 websites out there which are all looking and feeling the same. So you as the purchaser get the option of saying, I want my site to look like this, bang, I'll download that thing. I want it to look like this, bang, I'll download that thing. To the reader, they look different, but ultimately underneath it's still the same engine.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I've talked to some other affiliate marketers and folks in our space who have concerns about using the same theme and the same setup because they don't want people to figure out, if they can discover one site and they can discover the rest of them, right? Because of the way they're set up. They can look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's Carl. I can tell because it looks just the same. People say that a lot of times with John Dykstra. If they can find one of his sites, then they can find the other ones.
So in terms of moving forward, I mean, obviously we're on version 1 at the moment. That will inevitably change as the model of what we're doing changes. So obviously, we need to get as much alignment between the themes and the way they work together so that it actually makes sense. So when you take off a theme and add on a new one, there's not so much back-end stuff going on and it becomes an admin nightmare for myself, Carl and Alex. But ultimately, in testing, it's all working fine. Actually, in testing, I don't know if you saw Alex's short video earlier. He's already got commissions on our site, which was launched 15 days ago. Maybe it's some sort of SEO goldmine I've managed to stumble across. I don't know.
So when you say that the themes could be layered without, and the back end would be fine, because one of the things that's really annoying about changing themes, like if I wanted to go from GeneratePress to Astra, all of my header code would be gone, which is why I use insert headers or footers, because I'm tired of that. That's annoying. You have to reset usually your Ezoic ads or whatever ads if you're placing the ad units on your own, because changing the theme is going to mess with that. So you're saying that you could just layer these on top and everything else would just change the look of it. That's it.
It wouldn't be layering it on top. So you'd have to take off popcorn and replace it with popcorn
2, popcorn caramel, popcorn,
whatever,
super salty.
But the theory is, and as I say, in testing it works nicely. By doing that, it's keeping all the settings, all the main settings. The only danger is we don't want to go too much down the settings route, because then you start going into territory which is, well, it's just a customizable theme, which is like X theme, which is like GeneratePress and stuff like that. We don't want those distractions. So there's a lot to consider. Now, I've developed themes before, but usually it's for clients. So this is like a commercial thing. And one thing that's definitely come about is you need to think from a user's perspective on how the actual thing works. The initial build which we sent out was great, but then suddenly there's a whole barrage of stuff coming in. Why can't I do this? Oh, of course, yeah, because you're a user, you're not expecting to see what I'm seeing on my end. So it's been a massive learning experience, but it's been so much fun. It's actually probably one of the most enjoyable experiences in terms of my professional career, just building something and people enjoying it.
That's cool to hear. I mean, it's enjoyable to talk to people who have a passion for something. But going back to Alex's video about Ezoic and the rest, so my niche site, Cage Fight site, the new site I started in July, I have popcorn on there, and I am planning this next month. So in month 2, I'm planning on getting it into Ezoic, even though I don't have any traffic yet, because I just like to start from the beginning, and putting the ad units on there. Are there any tips or tricks or anything specific to Ezoic about popcorn that I should know, or is it just pretty much standard, no surprises to be expected?
None to be expected at all. Alex put the Ezoic on there, and page speeds were okay, but then that's just an Ezoicism, I'd call it, because of the way that they deliver their ads and stuff. However, by putting Leap on, which I don't think is available for everybody yet, by putting Leap on, it just brought it back up to exactly as it was before, in late 90s page speeds. And when you go on any of these sites, which popcorn sites, they seem to respond well. I haven't had any real problems as such. There's been a few quirks here and there where people said, "Oh, could we have this feature?" And there lies in another problem. It's nice to have all these features, but at the end of the day, we don't want to go down the route of saying to people, "Oh yeah, well, we'll add the ability to add in a I don't know, analytics code or something like that," when we don't want to corner the user into saying, you've got to keep popcorn to make your site functional. We want you to be able to uplift the theme and hopefully load on one of our other themes as well, should you want to in the future, with minimal downtime and minimal customization.
One of the things that's cool that I like about popcorn, because honestly, the back end of it is really similar to just about any other theme. For me, who's not technical, it's just kind of like using GeneratePress in most cases after it's set up. But one of the differences that saved time for me was the darn homepage, right? Because in most other themes, you either have to use one of their templates, and if you don't like it, then you're stuck building your own. And usually what I'd done in the past was using the Gutenberg blocks, like the Gutenberg add-ons or something to create my blocks. And that is the one place really that saved me time getting set up, was it created at least something acceptable for the homepage that looked like something I would want versus something random. that I did not want. And so that was, I'm assuming, part of the plan to get
Yeah,
people going was to give them a homepage that content sites would actually want to have.
And that's exactly it. I mean, there is more coming to the homepage. I'm looking at doing things like featured categories at the moment with the ability to enable or disable those. I don't know what version you're on. I'm sure I sent it to you the other day. But there's a bunch of quality of life improvements in the customizer where you get the separated headers and stuff like that, which makes it look a bit nicer and makes it a bit easier for you to find items that you're looking for.
Let's see, I'm running 1.0.6.
Oh wow! So your free version's out of date. So
that was like a week ago.
I know. The thing is, it's been going so fast. If you saw the list, you'll probably go, "Wow, look at all those updates!" And there's a lot more. There's a nicer footer now as well, which you'll probably like.
That's exciting. I mean, I'm excited to continue to get the updates.
I'll send that across to you.
Hey, and folks, and I'll just say this to everybody else who's listening right now. This is one of the major side benefits of having a YouTube channel, because your friends who you meet on YouTube try out stuff and then they give it to you because they want you to try it out and talk about it on YouTube. So I will just straight up say that I have been comped a copy of Popcorn. I didn't pay for it. And I'm not getting paid for having this conversation. I'm doing it because I want to. And I got the code because I thought it would be cool to see if anybody else wanted to try it out. I'm checking the chat and I see John, what's going on? Thanks for dropping in. I see Keith and Carl are in the chat there. Sue, what is going on? And Adrian. I see the important question of the day has been answered is, what is Carl making for tea? Turns out it's some kind of chicken.
Oh, so last week, I actually did watch your stream briefly at the tail end of last week, and you were talking about tea and stuff. and this sort of made me smile, because up in Yorkshire, where Carl is, they do call it tea. But down in the south here, in the south of England, we call it dinner.
Do you say the dinner or dinner?
Just dinner.
Dinner.
Just dinner. But saying that, I think my grandmother used to say tea as well, so that doesn't really make much difference. There's no basis on that.
So why is it then that in the wake of all this Core Web Vitals stuff, do you think that we don't see some of these established themes going down the road of trying to make a lighter version of GeneratePress or Astra or something that can score as well as this? Because, you know, those are pretty established themes. Like, I don't know how hard this is, but
the thing is, out of the problem you've got is, you know, present company excluded, is that users like to do their own websites. So a lot of the Core Web Vitals is really down to efficiencies. So things like image sizes and stuff like that, get those perfect from the off. But the way that I encoded the images on Popcorn is either it will have an explicit image size, or on the home page, it will use a CSS class, which is called Object Fit Cover, which basically crops the image and gives all the images equal size. And that almost gets around, I say almost gets around the Core Web Vitals in terms of content layout shift and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there's much drive for a lot of theme developers to actually get that fixed, because I think those developers they want the page speed scores, obviously, but they're also trying to sell the theme with all these features and functions. It's a really tough one. I don't know if they will. I hope they will, but maybe they're relying on things like the caching plugins to fix those issues for them. GeneratePress is a tiny theme. It's a great theme. I love it. It's really good. And to be honest, I think I wish more websites use that. You know, obviously, I wish more websites use Popcorn, but GeneratePress is a great thing. It's clean, simple, fast. But there again, there's still customizations to be done. So, otherwise, every site looks like a GeneratePress site.
So you'll have to forgive me for my ignorance, and I'm going to display yet again my ignorance. So when you like, let's take the images, right? Let's say I upload an image and who knows what size it is, right? Let's just say I don't pay attention to what size it is. And it turns out it's really big, right? It's not just the size of the file, but also the actual dimensions in pixels is big, right? It's probably too big. And in the past, I have used plugins that just automatically go and either smush those or limit the size, like I don't want to say physical size, but the dimensions of it automatically. And what I sound like you're saying is that the theme automatically puts a limit on the size that the image could be displayed. To basically stupid, like the stupid button away from me.
No. So what it does, I mean, typically when we're uploading an image to a site, all of us, we shouldn't be stupid. I've done it before where I've just gone for ease, just upload it, get it done.
I'm in a hurry. Like I just need to hit publish.
It's a 4K image or something like that. Obviously, the theme won't actually resize that image appropriately for that. It will basically take an area, squash it down, and then apply what's called object fit class, and then basically it will crop it in a way that actually makes sense for the way that I've designed the front page. And that's why no matter what size image you put on the home page, it will actually be the same for everyone, for every thumbnail. So it gives you that sort of more uniform look. Now, there have been feature requests of Popcorn to say, oh, can we have it so that the image isn't cropped? And then this is another thing. It's a feature request, and I need to weigh up whether I do it or not. It's one of those things. What are the use cases and what are the benefits? If there's enough feature requests for a certain feature, then yeah, we'll do it. But if it's one or two out of however many,
well, that could also be like Popcorn, like a different version of it. There could be like Popcorn, easy, and then there's this other one that is more customizable.
There's talk. There's talk. There's discussions of a complementing plugin where you can put in things like all the affiliate stuff which you might like, things like analytics, Ahrefs code and all that sort of stuff, which is almost like insert headers and footers, but we'll add some other niceties in there as well, maybe some custom post types for buyer's guides, a custom post type or something else. So there's a whole bunch of discussions going on, but they are very early days at the moment, and to be honest, there's no lead time on when that will be done. It will be done, but I don't see it happening over the next couple of months or so.
Keith says, yep, I requested the custom thumbnail size without cropping.
Hi, Keith.
Sue has a question for Phil. It says, you said you've made themes before. Have you made any other types of software?
Well, web-based stuff, just HTML, a bit of PHP coding, and in a distant past, I used to do some PowerShell scripting. But that's pretty much it.
Just that.
Yeah, it is very light. It is very light, to be honest.
Dee asks, can you use the related post plugin with Popcorn, as it seems to skew everything at the bottom of the post, or is that just me?
Related posts. So Popcorn already includes a related post function where it uses the current category that your post is in. It will display other posts within that category, and there is an option in the theme to turn that off.
So in Popcorn post settings, is that where it is?
It's in the post settings, and no, it won't show it in yours. It will show it in the new version.
Yeah, I only have 1.0.6.
Yeah, so you're old school.
Yeah, or maybe that's where Dee is at. Maybe she doesn't have the most up-to-date version of it, and maybe updating the theme would be like the first step to seeing if maybe that would solve that issue.
Absolutely, yeah. There was a feature added, I think, 1.0.8, which adds this extra feature.
Phil says, or Carl says that Phil will be busy.
I always am, Carl.
He says, yes. Do you feel any drive or desire to create your own portfolio of sites now that you're like wrapped up into this community of people? I mean, you have to see how it's done, like talking with Alex and Carl and having interest in a site of your own.
I love the idea of it. I really do. And to be honest, with my website, my business website, there is we're in a stage where we're going to be redesigning that at some point. And there is a desire to have a blog section on there. But it will, I don't know whether it will be there just to gather affiliate commissions or anything like that, but it will be there to gather potential new business. So it's up for discussion with my wife, the one that holds the money.
Makes all the decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dee says that she has version 9.
Okay.
But she'll take a look at the post settings.
Get in touch if there's a problem, and we can go through that.
Carl wants to know, how do people update the theme? If they, how will they know that there's a new or up-to-date version?
So currently, at the moment, we are using a piece of software which is programmed by an external developer. However, they've been quite slack on returning my emails. So the software works great, but there's a bug in it which I found and I sent across to them. But that was only last Tuesday. So in terms of updates at the moment, it's a manual process. Activate default theme, delete Popcorn, install Popcorn, the new version. But from I've roadmapped it on version 1.1. That will have inbuilt updates available where you just hit update now in the standard WordPress fashion. So that's coming. Hopefully, I need to make sure 1.0 is perfect, or as close to as perfect as possible before I start working on the next major release of adding all the really nice features and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't want to say it's a work in progress, but it's like an affiliate website. That is always going to be a work in progress. A website is a living and breathing thing, and so is this theme. It seems to be a living and breathing thing. And I am spending a lot of time on it. But at the end of the day, a lot of my business I have is web hosting, and that is, I suppose, almost passive in a way. So I do have that passive income. I supply a service.
Well, really quick, I wanted to have a selfish moment and plug the new podcast that I started with Niche Safari Chris. There's only the first couple episodes out, but the link is in the description. It's on YouTube and also pushing out on all of the normal, usual podcast players like iTunes and all the rest. But it's called The Drawing Board, and Chris and I are talking websites, and we were talking about our 15-month-long battle, which is being called the niche site Cage Fight. The link is in the description, along with the link to the Popcorn coupon code, which is available till the end of August. So back to Popcorn. One of the things, as I understand, the $99 is the price for basically lifetime access to Popcorn, to put it on as many sites as you want, basically forever, with all updates and the rest. Do you think that's going to change at some point in the future? There's no plans to say, okay, maybe we'll limit that to one site or to change the price.
So the only thing that will change to the licensing, and I'll say this now, is that we may introduce a single site license or like a 5-site license. But the $99 is going to be for life, last forever, and for as long as the theme's life. And what we mean by that is, we all know that Gutenberg is going on this route of potentially going to be replacing themes at some point. In 5.8, I don't think it's there yet. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if version 6 of WordPress completely wipes out themes, but then we'll have to diversify and figure out something else so that it can still work with Popcorn. But to be honest, at this point in time, it's a long way off. And And if Gutenberg will replace themes, which I don't think it will, there's still going to be that element of you need to spend a lot of time setting up your site and configuring it and playing with templates, designs, and so on and so forth. So at this, there's no danger of the theme going anywhere in the long term.
So for the folks who are new to websites, and I know there are a lot of folks that are like brand new beginners who catch this stream, when you are talking about Gutenberg, could you just explain briefly what that is so that people are like, okay, I don't feel stupid for asking? Because as I understand it, Gutenberg is what allows me from the back end to create my blog posts, and then I use the blocks and I design things. But you're saying that that's going to be the way in the future, that there just won't be a theme that you install. You'll just use the Gutenberg, like the blocks, to create your website?
Yeah. So in version 5.8 of WordPress, I think it's the latest version has it, is you do have things like the query loop. And the query loop will allow you to display blog posts, like a bunch of blog posts in a page or a post which you're currently in. And I played around with it briefly, so I'm not an expert as of yet. But I did play around with it briefly, and from what I saw, it was quite lacking. Things like designing the header of the site, it just felt quite clunky. I don't think Gutenberg is the most amazing page builder. Things, Elementor is great in terms of user experience, but then you get the offset of that of page speed and unnecessary CSS and JavaScript. But in terms of Gutenberg, essentially what they will eventually do is take away the need to have a header on a site, which basically every theme has, and take away the need to have a footer, and build out your pages and save them as templates. So when you create a new page, you'll save that as a template. So it's almost like a hybrid between a theme builder and the old Gutenberg, which we know and love. Love probably not, but yeah.
So I went and pushed one of my articles on the niche site, Cagefight site, through PageSpeed Insights. And on Google Search Console, I don't have enough data there to get any sort of stats for Core Web Vitals because the site has no traffic, as it probably should for a site that is only 4 weeks old. And for folks that imagine that I should have hundreds of visitors already, that's just results not typical. But so right now on desktop, it scores a 100 and it's green on everything, right? The first contentful paint, LCP and all the rest. But on mobile, the same page has the largest contentful paint is yellow, and it says that the LCP element is the, looks like the header.
Okay, and that's probably your logo.
It says the deposition, let's see, it's the H1 title. Sorry, not the header, it's the H1 title.
Yeah.
Any tips for like, how do I deal with that? Is there something I can do without adding WP Rocket or Leap to it? Yeah,
so the largest contentful paint is what Google sees as the largest area painted on the first initial load. So that font, the default size font on Popcorn, is quite large. So you could try bringing that down in size maybe. And on the latest version, you do have that option in the header to do that. So when I send that over to you, you should be able to fix that.
But basically, though, there's always going to be an LCP element, right, on a page. Yeah. It's just whether or not that element is green, yellow, or red. So I can shrink it, but maybe I will be making something else on the page the LCP element.
Yeah, so it's weighing up the different, And the other thing that in PageSpeed Insights, you click on the LCP and it'll tell you what actually contributes to that LCP as well. So just below, it'll say all LCP, FID, and CLS. You can actually click on LCP and it'll tell you the elements below that which are actually contributing to that. And you may find it might be an analytics code that may be even contributing to that. And this is the problem with PageSpeed Insights. I think Google have been quite cruel in terms of the actual loading of speed of sites and stuff like that, because they base it around, assuming that people are using a 3G connection. I very rarely go anywhere and there's a 3G connection nowadays. It's usually 4G. I'm not fortunate enough to have a 5G phone yet, but I've never really even noticed it, even when I'm on 4G, a speed issue on most websites I go to. So I think they're being a bit cruel, but that's Google.
Adrian, his advice was same as yours, which is try decreasing the font for the H1, which I will do. Carl says that he'd love to see us go head to head. And what I recently discovered, which I never knew, is that Chris is quite tall, apparently. And for some reason, because you only see people like here on the screen, I had always just pictured him about the same height as me, because on the screen, right, he's like kind of the same, right? Turns out he's like a foot taller than me. So no, I really doubt there will ever be a physical in-person head-to-head, because all he has to do is go like this, and I'd be like, like completely unable to reach him. Dee says about the podcast, really enjoying it, and I'm glad. Chris and I have both been spending a lot of time camping this summer, so I'm not sure when we will create content for it again, but the plan is to just make it a long-term project. I look forward to posting some stuff for you soon. Back to popcorn, though. What I've heard many positive things about popcorn, but you also get the thing that happens on YouTube, which is you get people complaining about people creating something and releasing it and then asking for money for it. And they seem shocked that you might want to sell, like people that maybe I or someone else would want to sell something, like the fact that I might have this code right here and be telling people about popcorn. I might lose subscribers because of that, because I don't charge for anything, right? I do what I do on YouTube, and I rarely sell anything. How do you deal with that? Do you feel sensitive to it at all, or you're like, no, I'm a developer. I earn money for my time, and I'm not going to apologize for putting out a product and expecting people to pay for it.
I mean, the thing is, everybody's got the ultimate choice of whether they want to buy it or whether they want to click your affiliate link. But the deal is exactly the same. If they don't want to buy it, don't buy it. I get their feedback and their criticisms and stuff like that. But ultimately, I've got a family. I need to pay the bills. I need to keep the lights on and all that sort of stuff. So, like you do, except for your money comes through, affiliate marketing. My money comes through, releasing a digital product. Whether it's a digital product which, saves your life or saves you time or not, then, so be it. But, I don't think it's a bad deal. I mean, $99 in this day and age, it does sound like a lot of money to pay up front, and off you go.
Well, especially for someone who has never made a single dollar online.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with that. But the reason why we chose the unlimited deal was purely because it's very hard to police WordPress license stuff. There's so many websites out there, and to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if Popcorn's already on one of these websites where you can get a dodgy copy of it from when they're actually charging money to subscribe to their service. So there are websites out there which are doing this, and I think there's a point where, if it becomes a problem, then so be it. I don't have any problems with the pricing model at the moment, and if people are saying that we're just cashing in, well, we all need to cash in somewhere. We all need to earn money. I didn't start a business for no reason. I didn't start it just for charity.
I'm pretty sure that every single person who is on the stream right now, listening, either live or on the replay, wants to make money. And that's pretty much why everybody is here in one way or another. Well, you said then what sort of criticisms are coming up aside from the thing like the community? Are there any criticisms of the theme itself that you've received or that have inspired you to make changes?
Yeah, it's been compared to GeneratePress and it's been compared to Acabado. But the thing is, they're all different products. They all have their own sectors, if you like. And I've quite openly said, GeneratePress is amazing. It does a great job of what you want it to do. And to be honest, I haven't touched Acabado, so I couldn't even comment on Acabado. But they all have their place. So I don't see where the comparison is at the moment on those. If I'd uplifted their code and actually copy and pasted it into Popcorn and said, "Oh, look, here's Popcorn. Oh, by the way, it's exactly the same setup as GeneratePress, so you can go read their documentation for it." But it's not like that at all. It's completely built 100% from the ground up. No frameworks involved whatsoever. Just using Visual Studio Code, which is it's like using Notepad on a PC. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, for me, the numbers don't lie, right? Because I can put in my GeneratePress sites into GTmetrix or Pingdom or any of the rest, and without ads, I think the Popcorn theme has scored the fastest of any of my sites ever, which is I was kind of shocked, honestly, because I didn't expect it. Because usually you have stuff on there, and I would not expect to get 100% and 100% on on the homepage. And that's one of the reasons why I'm using it and debating moving my other sites to it, because it does seem fast as a cuss word I cannot say. I will not say on the stream. It seems fast as fast.
Well, it's funny. There was one of my customers that actually have a blog, and he was asking me. He's actually using WooCommerce on his blog. I don't know if you remember, almost like what Alex used to do with WooZone, was it?
I've seen. I've used WooCommerce before.
He emailed me saying, "Will Popcorn work on the site?" And I said, "No, yours is WooCommerce. It won't work." Oh, okay, all right. He was all quite disheartened. And then I sent an email back to say, "Well, why don't I give you a staging site and we'll try it anyway?" And yeah, straight out of that, I set it up for him within 20 minutes, and it's all working. WooCommerce is working, although the CSS is a bit messy, but it is working. So it's not even coded for WooCommerce. So yeah.
Let's see. Keith says, ironically, Google PageSpeed Insights, the page itself does not pass the page speed insights.
No, that's widely known. It's sad. I mean, the thing is, PageSpeed Insights even says, if you want to speed up your site, don't use Google Analytics. So, yeah.
D says, I'm Northern, so tight. $99 is a bargain. Carl says, everyone has the option to use free themes or buy a theme. It's good to have options. I have definitely done paid themes and free themes. And this, up to this point recently, I've always just used the free version, not even the pro version of GeneratePress. I've used the free version of GeneratePress. And I think for people who are just getting started, especially when money is an option, if you have to choose between purchasing a theme and feeding your kids, feed your kids.
Yeah,
use a free theme until you build up your business to a place where it makes sense to invest. I don't think that a paid theme is necessary for someone to get started.
Especially if it's a new website, there's no real need to pay for a theme at all, because you're not going to get any traffic to the site. So nobody's going to see it apart from yourself. I know it's nice to...
Aside from the fact, though, that for someone who is getting started, who is overwhelmed by all of the options in other themes, that would be the weighing. You're like, okay, I want to spend the money on this now? I don't necessarily know if this is something I'm going to want to do for a long time, versus maybe not getting started or getting stuck in the setup stage, which a lot of people do, right? A lot of people buy the domain, they get hosting, and they get the theme, and then they get locked into, let me customize this and customize this, and then they never break out of it. And that's kind of the upside of a theme that doesn't have many of those options, is you can't get stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I have toyed with the idea of having a light version, which is so stripped back you can't change Well, I'd say hardly anything, but you know, things like the copyright you wouldn't be able to change, or you know, you wouldn't be able to change font sizes, and you'll have a limited color selection and stuff. I've toyed with that idea, but then it becomes an admin nightmare, because there's also the support element as well. Even if you're giving something away for free, there's still going to be a support element, because you can't, you know, dismiss these people and say, "Oh, see you later." It's the wrong thing to do. As a limited business in the UK, I feel I've got a duty of care to my customers, whether they actually buy a product or even not buy a product. So whether it's free or whether they pay for it. But I don't know, maybe there's some scope for that in the future. Maybe I should get Carl brushed up on his CSS and coding skills, and then you know, get him doing some bits for me.
Keith, let's see. Keith says NitroPack are crapping themselves.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. But NitroPack, I don't know what they did to actually get past page speed insights, but they did an amazing job on that from what I've seen.
Let's see. Derek says, what is the download size for Popcorn?
Zipped up, it is currently 240 kilobytes. And most of that size actually comes from Font Awesome minimal icon pack, which is in there. I think over half of that is the Font Awesome minimal pack.
Carl says he didn't even want options to change colors or fonts, but the other guys wanted the options.
True story.
Keith is calling the lightweight version of Popcorn a kernel. Which is
there you go. Like it.
Carl's talking about, I already hit that one. He said he wanted to produce a theme that got the newbie started as soon as possible, and Popcorn does that.
100%.
One of the questions above was switching from themes to another. So if somebody wanted to switch to Popcorn from another theme, like how complicated would that be? I mean, this is aimed at the beginners who have never necessarily switched from one theme to another.
It is quite simple. There's about 4 or 5 steps I would go through. So install and activate your theme. Your front page is done in terms of how it looks and feels. Set up your menus. Add a hero text and button links. And that's it.
And so the hero section on the front page, there's like the latest posts and featured posts in their blocks down below, and then over the top there's one kind of like block, and you can put whatever you want in there. So some sort of header, and then you have some text, and then you have like a button if you want to use the button. So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's the hero section. I'm calling it a hero section. I suppose really a hero is the actual wide bit, but yeah.
I don't know, it just helps to understand, because people might not understand what the hero button is, or where that is, or who, or how, or
so we've put it in the customizer. You can disable and enable certain elements, and I think it was you that actually asked, could you have it so that there was no images on some posts? So that features have also been enabled as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to go get that.
Yeah, I'll send that across to you.
Let's see, we had that one. Somebody else was talking about the unpopped popcorn, the light version.
Uncorned.
Just straight up corn.
Or maybe unicorn.
He says, don't forget designing the logo on Canva.
Oh yes, yeah, there is that.
The popcorn theme is the only popcorn we want.
I mean, the thing is, you can actually code a theme so that it's so lightweight and so simple. You could get it down to less than 100 kilobytes in size, but the thing is, your options are going to be limited. There's a point of, how much functionality do you want, or do you want no functionality? And that's the thing. We want to give people some options, but we want it looking good out of the box, and that's where it currently is at the moment.
Adrian notes that hasta la vista boss Adrian says, by mistake, corn broadband, and a few minutes later we have the popcorn theme.
Maybe Adrian needs Maybe Carl needs to sort them out a few beers.
It's like a kickback of some kind. Poor Carl. We've been calling him Corn Broadband behind his back now, or to his face, ever since that happened.
I'm actually going up to see Carl, so I'll buy him a few beers.
Yes, all right. Yes, well, he's been a good sport in all of this. So one of the things that I plan to do in the future with my popcorn website is actually add ad units to it for Ezoic. What can I look forward to as I get the updates? Like what else will I have the pleasure of doing with my site as you get more of the features set up?
So I don't know if it's been made public, but I think Popcorn's actually down in the Ezoic library, is it? I don't know if they call it a library.
Oh, in the technology where they tell you that your theme is
we've
slow and terrible.
Yeah, we managed to get ourselves in there as one. I don't know whether recommended is the right word, but
I think that they have recommended alternatives, and they have suggestions.
Carl has put me in contact with somebody at Ezoic, and I'd like to have a call with them at some point so that we can add some extra features maybe aimed at Ezoic. Now, I don't know whether that'll be at plugin level or theme level, but whatever it is that we do, if we do it, it'll be completely free because it'll be part of your license, which you've already purchased. So there is stuff coming. There's also a bunch of other stuff which is aimed for version 1.0.10, a couple of bug fixes which we found. But there's also a few other little bits which are nice to have. So you can actually have things like, your featured posts up the top. You can have that in 3 columns if you like, or just 1 wide column, and the amount of posts which you can display on your homepage. So there's little bits coming here and there.
All right. Well, I have 2 things that I'll just throw out there. It's like that. So I often get, I order content and then I get it back and I copy it over. And because so much of my traffic is on mobile and because I have the size of the font like increased enough so it's readable, I have to basically make every single sentence a new paragraph. And so it would be cool if that did it automatically, right? Like if it recognized like the return or period as a sign to create a new block for paragraph.
You probably think that'd be doable.
Just that's one thing that because the reason I bring this up is because as an Ezoic user, what I tend to do to get the maximum benefit of the ad tester is that I will add an ad unit under every single paragraph, like a potential option to let the ad tester roll through and test what spots are. And so if you have a 3,000 word post that every sentence is a new paragraph, that means that I will have to spend a long time going in and adding those ad units. And by the end, you're like, this is so annoying. And I don't see why this can't be automatic in some way.
It probably more veering on plugin territory, but it's certainly doable because we could just have a filter where it detects a paragraph and then automatically inserts an ad placement.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you want to talk about
used or not is another story by Ezoic. But
yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want 600 ads on a page, right? It just wants to give. Yes, but it's like you give the tester the option, right, to figure out what is the best place to earn the most. And it would just be cool if there was a shortcut in some way. Because to me, it seems like if the ad tester can run, and I don't see why it is that there isn't some option to just take the post and add a separate and distinct ad unit under each of those paragraphs.
I've just had an idea we can do that, but it'll be a plugin. It wouldn't be part of the thing.
Yeah, but if it was part of, like, if it was only available through Popcorn, I guess it's like an option. I mean, I would be a loyal customer forever, basically, at that point, because that is one of the most annoying things about adding ad units to it, and you can't. It's not something that they will do over. I mean, they may have in the past done that as part of the support setup, but I think they're getting away from doing everything for users and encouraging people to do it themselves because they can't bear the burden of doing all of the setup for people anymore.
No, absolutely. they've only got a certain amount of staff, haven't they?
Let's see. What does Carl have to say? Carl's in there, like taking on the chat for us. He says Popcorn was base tested against Ezoic's usual themes and beat them on speed. They need to document the data before it is officially publicly recommended.
That's what I wanted to say.
All right. Robin says, does it have pagination under suggested post, for example?
It's not under. So I'm assuming on the related posts. Is that pagination to move to the next post, or pagination to move to the next bunch of related posts?
And I don't know the answer to that either. So Robin, if you're still here.
Well, on the post itself, we've got post navigation, which brings you to the next post, previous post. But on the related post, there's no pagination there. Is it something I'll add? Probably not. Is it something where we can add more related posts? Probably yes.
Because see, what I see when I get to the bottom in version 6, which is what I have, is I get to the bottom, and then it used to be on the theme, like the previous post, like would be this tiny little hyperlink, right? So it might as well not be there. And this one is a big block, so previous post, and then gives me the option for something else. And then it also has the related posts. There's 3, like a spread of 3 underneath, and there's no skipping around for that. But yeah, I mean, that it does have it now. As far as pagination, though, I'm curious what Robin means, and feel free to explain, man. We're here for another couple of minutes if you happen to get this. It is almost the top of the hour, and I want to thank you so much for being here and like giving us your time to talk about Popcorn. Is there anything that I missed, like I should have asked you about Popcorn?
No. I think we've pretty much covered it off. There's a lot coming. You'll probably see a lot of updates initially while we're sort of testing the waters with new ideas and stuff like that. But as time goes on, I'd like to think that we'll get to a point where it's nice and stable, and then we can start concentrating on the next major release of Popcorn and the salted caramel or extra salty or whatever you want to call it. Name hasn't been decided yet, so lots of things to consider and do over the next coming months.
Robin says numbers. That's what he meant, was numbers. So I'm wondering if maybe he means like the option to scroll through like multiple pages.
Maybe. At the moment, probably no, because that's not something which I'd consider. And it's the first suggestion. If I'm looking into getting a almost like a roadmap / upvoting system put in place, so that members who have purchased Popcorn can log on and actually request features, and other members can then upvote those features, because then it actually gives me a priority, or gives us a priority list to work through in terms of extra features.
Robin says, actually, we're talking about the home page when you have subject, example subject, and then post tab category A, then with numbers pagination, if there was more than 6.
Yes, that is coming. That is coming.
So the answer is not yet, but eventually soon.
Yes, that one is coming. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for being here. I want to just give a quick plug again for the coupon code for Popcorn that is going to be available till the end of August. Use the code AmeliaStream to get $20 off of your lifetime subscription access to Popcorn for basically ever. Forever. And Phil, thank you so much for being here. I truly enjoyed getting to talk to you, and I hope that someday you'll come back, talk to us about hosting or about other things, just to be a friend of the show. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always open to questions and all that sort of stuff. So whichever way they want to find me, whether it's a group or email or whatever, that's fine.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you, then what is the best way?
Probably my email, which is phil@spiderweb.co.uk.
Awesome. And if they want to check out your offerings for hosting or other WordPress stuff, they can reach out to you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just drop us a mail. If there's something I can't do, I will tell you that I can't do it.
Well, awesome. Well, have a great rest of your summer, and I look forward to chatting with you again.
Lovely. Speak to you soon.
All right. Take care. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.